Hello and welcome to On the Record News. It's Wednesday, the Ides of March. Beware. I'm Trevor Carter.
And I'm Jack Wannon. These are the stories we're following this week. Flair is back in the air. The CEO of Flair Airlines, Stephen Jones, says it's back to business as usual. Flair is an ultra-low-cost airline based in Edmonton. Over the weekend, 4 of its planes were seized in 3 Canadian cities, including Toronto. The company that leases planes to Flair said the airline was in default over lease payments. Jones disputes details of any default. He has rustled up other planes, and Flair is flying once more.
One of the most honest moments at Sunday's Oscar ceremony may have come from Brendan Fraser, who won Best Actor for his heartbreaking performance in The Whale. Fraser hasn't been seen much in recent years. In his acceptance speech, he thanked Whale director Darren Aronofsky for throwing him a creative lifeline. Another moment of brutal honesty came on the red carpet when Hugh Grant told interviewer Ashley Graham he had dressed himself for the event and that he was almost having fun.
BBC football pundit Gary Lineker is back as presenter of Match of the Day. He was suspended last week after posting a tweet critical of the UK government's policies on migrants seeking asylum. Colleagues of Lineker staged a walkout over the weekend that disrupted BBC Sports programming. The broadcaster will be reviewing its guidelines for social media use by people on its payroll. The series of events has raised important questions for journalism: editorial restraint versus freedom of speech, what news journalists can say versus what sports journalists can, and what oversight the BBC can exercise over its staff employees versus its freelancers.
Canadian banks are feeling ripple effects following the failure of Silicon Valley Bank in the US. Silicon operated one branch in Canada, not far from here in fact, on Bay Street. Stock shares in Canada's top 5 banks have fallen 5% since last Wednesday, when the news about the bank's struggles started to circulate. Silicon Valley Bank had its assets seized by the U.S. government Friday. It's the second largest bank collapse in U.S. history. The first was Washington Mutual's bank during the 2008-09 financial crisis.
Starting September 2024, Ontario high school students will be required to take a course that up until now has been optional. Education Minister Stephen Lecce says forcing students to take at least one so-called tech education course will open up careers in the trades to more people and also address the acute shortage of skilled tradespeople. We sent out reporter Justin Lamb to ask people what they think.
Thanks, Jack. I'm here at TMU campus to see what students think about this change. Is the reaction going to be positive or negative? Let's find out.
I think it's a good idea. I think a lot of the criticism people have of their high school education is that they don't really learn real-world skills. And obviously, everything, almost industry, has some sort of basis in technology now. So it will be really valuable. I know that the post-high school education path is not for everyone. So hopefully, this helps empower people to get the jobs they want sooner.
I think that it's a great decision. I think it's going to teach the students some great skills that I wasn't introduced to when I was in high school. So yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for them.
Well, I really believe that we're progressing towards a more technological advanced community, and educating young children such as grade 9s and 10s is very pivotal in our success and just the economy in itself in Canada, as well as just being able to educate the younger generation on the importance of technology.
I took an auto mechanics course, and I thought that it was really interesting. I wish I was introduced to something like that a little earlier, because I took it in my later years.
And I also think that this might give a little better access to people that learn in different ways, because a lot of people reading comprehension and regurgitating things back in writing form isn't the most conducive way they learn. So hopefully this will enable people to have better access to their education.
It seems the reaction to this news has been pretty positive among TMU students. For On the Record News, I'm Justin Lamb. Now, back to the studio.
Thanks, Justin. And now to our weekly look at things you might want to do on campus this week. Here's reporter Aru Kaul with a roundup.
Thanks, Trevor. There's a lot happening on campus this week. From interactive to informative, here are some TMU events you don't want to miss. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., join Professor Emeritus Gene Allen in The Catalyst, where he will be talking about his new book, Mr. Associated Press, Kent Cooper and the 20th Century World of News. Allen's book touches on journalism and politics, its economic foundations, press freedom, and the nature of news as property. This Saturday is TMU's annual Student Leadership Conference. Head up to the 8th floor of the Student Learning Center to learn community leadership skills, connect with industry professionals, and learn how to incorporate social justice practices into leadership. Doors open at 9 a.m. This coming Tuesday, starting at 5:30 p.m., join fashion innovators Sage Paul and Susan Langdon to explore key trends in today's Canadian fashion industry. Head up to the 7th floor of the Peter Bronfman Learning Center for a discussion about sustainability, gender fluidity, and radical inclusion in fashion. Want to start a podcast but don't know the first thing about them? Well, now's your chance to hear from someone who does. Next Wednesday, join Raju Mutter, a co-host and podcast producer at Toronto Star. Mutter will be in the Ven at RCC starting at 11 a.m. That's all for this week. For On the Record News, I'm Aru Call.
Thanks for that, Aru. Sounds like there's lots to do on campus. Off campus, there's also lots. No surprise, Toronto's a pretty big city and it remains a hub for visiting artists. Jaden, Keshi, and Freddie Dredd are just some of the performers hitting the stage this weekend. Jaden is at the Danforth Music Hall, Keshi at the Coliseum, and Freddie Dredd is at the Velvet Underground.
Lumiere, The Art of Light, debuted this past weekend at Ontario Place. And at this time of year, as winter turns to spring, the show is timely. You enter through a gateway and follow a winding trail through the entire exhibition. There are 16 pieces of art in all. They've been created by Ontario artists, making innovative use of light, the theme being the changing of the seasons. If this all sounds familiar, it's because this show has a new name. For years, it's been known as the Winter Light Exhibition. And obviously, the best time to go is after dark. It's free admission, open every day from dusk until 11 p.m., and it runs until early May.
And speaking of spring, if you're getting sick of the cold, you're not alone. Happily for all of us, sunshine is just around the corner. The official beginning of spring is next Monday. But don't break out the shorts and tank tops just yet. There's still lots of snow on the ground, and it's only just above zero.
Thanks, Jack. That's it for today's show. For more stories from our OTR newsroom, please have a look at our website. That's ontherecordnews.ca. I'm Trevor Carter.
And I'm Jack Wannon. Have a great day.